Welcome to the Principality of Andorra. Hi, my name is Steve. I'm a 59-year-old guy, 6'5", around 250 pounds, who loves getting out on the bike and going cycling. Well, that and eating lots of baked goods. If you're interested in seeing what Andorra looks like from the back of a road bike ridden by some spandex-wearing old dude, sit back and relax. This is Ride 365. Today is Sunday, September 15th, 2024, and I have a beautiful sunny afternoon for my first ride in Andorra. I think the temperature is around 17 degrees Celsius, though it does feel warmer to me. I also have a slight 8-kilometer wind. Before I get started on this ride, I want to head over to the bike shop located about 100 meters from my hotel to get my tires inflated up to around 100 psi. I am still feeling pretty jet lagged, but I want to get out and go cycling. I do have some sort of vague plan for this ride, but I'd first like to explore the area and get a feel for riding in Andorra. Here is my Strava route map for this ride. After flying from Vancouver to Barcelona, I grabbed a bus from the airport, and 3.5 hours and 40 euros later, I got into Andorra's capital city, Andorra la Vella, late Friday night. I got off the bus, and the first thing I noticed was how underdressed I was in thin pants and a hoodie. It is definitely cooler here than I expected. If you are like me and you don't know much about Andorra, well, I was able to dig up the following information on the country. Andorra is located on the south side of the Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France. The country is quite small, having an area of about 468 square kilometers and a population of about 79,000 people. Andorra appears to have been created a long time ago by the Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne back during the 9th century. It was one of several buffer zone kingdoms created to separate the then Muslim-controlled Iberian Peninsula from the Frankish Empire to the north. While over time those other buffer states got absorbed into what became the state of Spain, Andorra did not. Presently, it is ruled by both France and Spain. While often called a tax haven, tax experts say that that designation is not totally correct. Unlike both Spain and France, where sales tax is up around 20%, in Andorra, the sales tax is 4.5%. Income tax is 10%, and there is no wealth or inheritance tax. In my brief ride through Andorra la Vella, the place seems like one giant outdoor shopping center. Having done a bit of a loop around the valley and through the city center, I am going to try riding up the north hillside. Strava has suggested a series of routes that leads ultimately high into the mountains on the north side of the city. While riding up there would be great, I'm not sure that that is realistic for this ride. Some of the inclines here are quite reasonable, but then they mix in some significantly tougher gradients, up into the double figures. I pulled over to check the Strava app, and I read it as requiring me to continue up the hill. It turns out I somehow misread that, but I didn't realize that till later. So up the hill I went. I caught up to the woman and her daughter and rode with them for a bit before I again stopped to check out the area and the app. According to Strava, I now need to climb further up the neighborhood and make a turn somewhere up ahead on the right. I found that woman and her daughter again. Her daughter gave me one of those "what took you so long" looks. I bet she grows up to race bikes one day. According to Strava, I can get back on the course somewhere on my right. I looked, but I couldn't find where. Now the app says I should continue further up the hillside. So I did, and I checked both the left and the right sides and found them to be dead ends. Strava points directly at what looks to me to be a dead end, but I'll explore it just in case. I stopped by the gate to check the app again. It tells me to continue on this trail. That seems crazy, but I guess I'm going to do it. It didn't take too long for me to realize that there is a road off to my right, and that was likely the route I was looking for. I am assuming that this trail will allow me to connect with that road at some point. Hopefully I can get there with no more than 2 flat tires, since that's all the spare tubes I have with me. I was quite happy to finally see this bridge and cross over to the road. I saw that bench and I sat down for a bit. Though it's not hot out here, I am feeling pretty hot, probably from all that climbing. Also, I must still be really jet lagged because my body still feels really off and weak. I also failed to appreciate Andorra's elevation. While Vancouver is mainly at sea level, Andorra starts at around 1,000 meters. Having hiked at much higher elevations before, I know 1,000 meters isn't some overwhelming elevation, but the air here is still a little thinner. As I'd also find out in a few hours, it turned out that I arrived in Andorra with a cold I'd picked up earlier in Vancouver. Later this evening, I'd be hit full force by the usual cold symptoms. But I didn't know that yet. I finally decided it was time to get a move on and started climbing along the highway. The gradient started out quite reasonable again, but slowly and gradually increased. When I exited the tunnel and looked up ahead, I saw a ramp coming up and did not like the look of it, so I quickly pulled off to the side. I debated whether to continue up the hill, and given how I was feeling, I decided to head back to the hotel. I figured that I could come back another day and try it again when I was feeling more energetic. Unfortunately, I would spend the rest of my time here dealing with sickness, and after later reviewing the map, I regretted not having pushed up over that ramp. There is a turnoff a few hundred meters up the road that I could have taken and climbed up to explore the mountainside neighborhood overlooking the city. I would have had great views from there. After turning onto a dead-end street and likely future condo site, I finally found the route that I was originally supposed to ride. I was so close, but I'm glad I made that mistake. My journey was so much more interesting, and I got to see parts of Andorra that I wouldn't have otherwise ever seen. This was an interesting ride. It isn't quite what I hoped it would be, but I did get to see a lot of Andorra la Vella. It is a beautiful area, and I think probably the cleanest city I have ever visited. I managed to get in 18 kilometers and 335 meters of climbing. That's definitely not a huge ride, but given how I'm feeling, I'm pretty happy with it. Now it's time to go back to the hotel and have a nice German beer.